Hello, it's a dark episode for September the 27th, 2021. I need to remember I should put this thing up close to me at this time because I speak lower and it doesn't matter if you're looking at my nostrils because it's dark. Uh, I I had a good day, a good weekend. Got the one video done. Didn't do a review video. Rarely do. I usually only just get the one video done, but that's because got a whole bunch of other stuff done. Um, I've just started watching Caleb, Caleb Joseph or whatever the hell his name is, his video about why I left BookTube, and I think it's why I left BookTube and why I'm coming back kind of video, and I've always been interested in this guy. Not because I'm particularly interested in his videos. He was always kind of really, really super high energy, really wacky, self-consciously, in a kind of entertainer kind of way. But it was definitely one of those things of someone's putting on a show, kind of that energy, with interspersed with what seemed like kind of genuine moments, but a lot of here's a show, and stuff that, like, obviously somebody who he was a young guy, but he'd been making videos for, he, as he says in his coming back to YouTube video, he'd grown up in front of the camera making content week after week and building up what's still is a massive audience, or at least massive subscriber base, and probably massive people actually watching his stuff. And it was interesting to see, like, he'd basically been away for a full year. He said he'd lost all his kind of interest in doing videos. He'd read silly books to make fun of. That seemed to be his shtick. It was entertaining to have watch somebody rip apart a book. Not really my thing. If you to self-consciously go and buy bad books so you can then rip them apart entertainingly. That is a lot of people's thing. People do that with movies all the time and stuff, and it's quite popular. So, people like a good car wreck, and you can be, if you're super witty, you find something to punch that brings out all that wit, I guess. But it was interesting listening to him talk about stuff because I'm an old dude who came to this older, but it was interesting of the various things he talked about, talking about how, he's actually very quiet and shy as a kid, but he would kind of put on this kind of wacky, high energy self, which he said is like, well, no, that's a genuine self. It was just me without all the guards up. But I didn't want anyone who actually knew me in real life to know that, because then they'd expect me to be like that in person, or they'd think I wasn't being genuine, that I was being fake online, probably. Which, it's that whole interesting thing of the persona. And, I've heard other booktubers kind of talk about people like this, like Caleb, of like putting so much energy in to boosting up a persona that isn't them, or is the entertainer persona, that it just grinds them down. It's so exhausting. And I mean, I've done one or two joke videos where I was like, I was pretending to be a kind of a biker dude, and just doing one video of that just as kind of a joke, and I just did one take. I'm a very, very super basic, primitive, crude, terrible booktube channel. It's like that was exhausting to me. So someone who is like just doing this week after week, multiple videos a week, and always in that thing, I can just see that being destroying to them. And I don't think Caleb was being inauthentic, but it's interesting that he's saying like, well, I think I'm going to come back, and he's honest. It's like, look, I'm working at Starbucks. I'm getting minimum wage. I'm only working like 20 hours a week. My bank account is going down and down and down. I need to make money. So, I'm trying this out. I'm going to see if anyone's still interested in me, that I can make it a go. I'm going to see if I can actually continue to make content again. Definitely is a content maker versus, I don't know. I He is somebody who's obviously looking at this as like, I need to make money. This is a way for me to make money that isn't people screaming at me because I put the wrong ingredient in their coffee at Starbucks, which is where he works and where he was bad mouthing stuff, which you might think is not like, is slightly a self-destructive thing right there of naming his employer that he's employed with at the moment and that it's not going well, and him saying, boy, it sucks to work at Starbucks. It's like, enough people are going to watch this video that could get back to Starbucks pretty easily, and he could find himself having to find a new job or having to try and make a go of this, which is like, I guess that's one way to push yourself out. And, a part of that is, I'm sure, is his honed instinct for like, absolute just saying whatever's on his mind is what's built up his audience in a way, is the thing that has rewarded him again and again on YouTube. It may not work so great in the real world, in a real world situation like a job, but it's a job he doesn't want to have. So maybe that's also why he's doing that. He's not an unintelligent guy. I'm sure a part of him is like, well, if they find out, maybe I'll just get fired, and that would be awesome too. Maybe I can collect UI for that, though they might be firing him with cause, because I'm sure there's some bit in his employment contract that'll say something about, you don't go on media and start bad-mouthing us as an employee of Starbucks. I'm sure that's there, might be there in a corporatese little thing that he probably signed, which we all those things that we sign without particularly reading them. But yeah, he is the kind. It's an interesting phenomenon that I like to watch on YouTube. Is like I subscribe to these giant creators, not because I'm particularly interested in their content, the videos that they make. I usually am not at all interested. But when you have these videos where it's the meta video, it's the kind of things cracking video, it's interesting because there's, to be honest, it's one of these things of like, I don't tell people that I'm on BookTube because I don't want them watching my videos, even my public channel, because it's somewhere where I am letting my guard down and I am feeling more free to talk. I have BookTube friends, but they just know me as Jay, which, is my first initial. But it's like, it gives me this kind of a free space. Now, I'm not a showman. You can kind of tell that by this channel and the other channel. I'm not a showman. I'm not interested in building up a thing. I'm not expecting to get any money. I'm definitely not bad-mouthing my employer, which I'm perfectly happy with. And I'm not, sharing information about the clients that we help, because that is, I am in their private space. I'm not would ever do anything like that. It's a little bit different than bad mouthing Starbucks and some asshole yelling him about coffee. It's like, yeah, you can see why you might feel that's not like violating a kind of a relationship kind of onus or anything like that. So yeah, we're not that similar that way, but he's under so much pressure in a way, and he's so kind of weirdly shaped, primarily shaped, grew up with this, that I actually do find it kind of useful to say, okay, well, how much of that resonates with me? How much of that is like, oh, I can see that. We all go through kind of periods of like, oh, why am I doing this week after week? I think, or there's a continual cycle of like really enjoying myself making videos, and then there's some weeks I'm just like, oh fuck, why am I doing this? I hate everybody. Everyone hates me. No one cares about me, and it all kind of eats me up inside. And then I wait a week or two, and it's gone. It goes away, and I just continue back because I love reading and I love talking about books. I'm not trying to come up with creative ways to get people to watch my videos. I don't care. I just want to talk about books, which releases me from having to kind of make a kind of do a churn. It's just like, nope, I read this book, so I talked about it. I read this book, so then I talked about it. It's like, each week I do that, and it's pretty effortless for me because it's I'm being creative in that hopefully I'm engaging with works, but I'm doing it on the terms of the works. And the works, if I there's so many great books out there to read that have so many interesting things to say, and for me to think about and to try and understand, try and understand that, it feels pretty endless to me. Maybe it won't be. Maybe in 6 months I'll be like, nope, that's it, I'm done. But we'll see. But yeah, so Caleb, thank you for existing, even though I'm not a fan, even though I don't watch any of your regular videos. You're fascinating to me, and maybe that is a part of his appeal, is people are fascinated. That said, I'd feel no ownership over the poor guy. If he decides, nope, this isn't for me, I wouldn't care. To be honest, when he released this video, I was like, oh yeah, I haven't seen him. But that was the first time I had thought about him, probably since well before he even left booktube. It was just like, yeah, he's a face that kind of comes up, and nope, not interested, nope, not interested, nope, not interested. And I mean, that's no offense. There's plenty of videos. There's so many videos on YouTube now that I just watch what I'm interested in, and that can mean 1 or 2 videos a day, or it can mean a whole bunch just because I'm in the mood. But it doesn't have anything to do with the people. I don't expect anyone to watch my videos. That sort of releases me from particularly having to do a churn of being a viewer either. I am a viewer, and I enjoy myself with what I watch, and I'm okay. I hope he is too. All right, we are going to head upstairs. Theo has been waiting at the top of the stairs for the last while. I might actually encourage him back down because it's wet, and he is a delicate little Havanese, even though he's very grubby and has been incredibly wet today. Yeah, this is going to be his first winter in Victoria, and he's going to have to get used to being wet a lot of the time. Soggy dogs, right? Shira, of course, is a pro and is just sitting next to me, pondering the wetness out here. All right, more videos later.